Good morning. Beautiful, wet morning for a run. Get a quick little 2-miler in before I take my son to his gymnastics and basketball camp. Saturday is a drive around day. Any parents out there? What's it like? 21st century. Get your kids to everything. I remember when I was young, we were in a couple things, right? But my parents had 7 kids. So even me being in one thing, at a time, if everybody was in one thing at a time, they were trying to get people to 7. I just filled my time by my son just wanting to be in everything. We have Boy Scouts later today too. He's going to want to get swimming. He does swimming lessons, but I don't think this weekend. But he's going to get out to practice at the Y. I don't know. We keep ourselves busy. So I had Little League, I remember. And then a different season I had swimming, which was only in the winter. That was high school. And before I did swimming, I did basketball. And I replaced the one with the other. I didn't do both. Band is a fall thing for high school. I wasn't in the band in elementary school. Let's see, what else? I don't know. Maybe I'll try running down here on the bike path. Hopefully it's not flooded too badly. Yesterday I did I also did Odyssey of the Mind, but that was a spring thing in high school. And before I did that, I did the JV baseball team, right? I never made the varsity. I had my best year, was it a 400 batting average? It was pretty high. It was, top 5 in the some lower pony league level, right? But then, so I guess I never quite caught on when the pitching got faster, right? I think I just didn't have the bat speed. So is what it is. I bet you that happens to a lot of athletes, who think at one point, man, if I keep developing, I'm pretty good at this. I was never really good at fielding, so I was a left fielder, but not a particularly good one. I thought, hey, high batting average, mediocre fielder, I could be of some use to some team going up. But then in high school, when the pitching got faster, I just couldn't keep up with it. Upper pony league even. So we're not even making it up to Legion Bowl. Yeah, and so I switched over to Odyssey of the Mind, which was super fun. A weird thing some high schools do. Does your high school have Odyssey of the Mind? Do you know what that is? I remember in middle school, I also did Junior Academy of Science. When we're trying to explore to find out who we are. I thought maybe a scientist. And I did okay in that. Made it to states, got a second. But yeah, once I found music, I knew that was my thing. Everybody's got a thing. They explore and find. Whew, this hill. So yesterday I ran a 4-miler run walk, right? 1 minute run, 1 minute walk. Oh, it's just nice to take some breaks. I might take a break on this hill. I made it to the top of this little hill, but let my heart rate come back down a little bit and then start running again. Yeah, when I first started running, my brothers, Paul and Mike, who have experience running ultras, even said, yeah, you know, don't push your heart rate too high on hills. Take a couple steps walking, bring it down, start running again. I took their advice to heart. I don't know that I've always done a good job, though, in recent years, recent weeks, you know, keeping that heart rate down. Just take a couple steps, re-catching my breath, and resetting for a good run. Rather, I have pushed myself too hard, like at the Pittsburgh Half Marathon, where at mile 10 or so, I was trudging, hit the wall, the famed wall, infamous wall, infamous, like in Three Amigos. El Guapo is infamous. I hit the infamous wall after 10 miles of running and had to struggle for the last 3 of that half marathon. Well, it's probably a better idea to keep your heart rate down as much as possible, especially early in the run. Even in a short run like this, just getting it in. Glad I have sunlight. Not much yet, it's very cloudy. But it's a lovely little park. Always birds singing. I hear crows this morning, some sparrows. There's usually loud grackles. Not hearing it this morning. Maybe they went south. I don't know. Are grackles migratory? Morning, crows. What a lovely thing it is to be alive. Get out. Even in grim days, God's nature revives us. So long ago I realized I like old things. So I'm a philosopher by trade, music education specifically. I write music education philosophy. But I'm really interested in history, and I've written a couple published historical papers on a specific educational writer, scholar, author from the 1920s and 30s, Sadis Coleman. But yeah, I like old things. Question of the day, do you like old things? Or like Barney from How I Met Your Mother, is newer always better? Part of the reason I run is because it's an exercise that's historical and mythological both, right? Going right back to the myth of Phidippides running a marathon to announce victory and flopping down dead in ancient Athens, you know, to historical exercise methods. Yeah, also like lifting weights. It's a simple exercise people have done through history to keep themselves fit. I don't know, something about being connected to what humans have done throughout history. It's kind of nice. Just went by a younger couple running, maybe 20 years younger than me, flying down the sidewalk. And an older gentleman, maybe 20 years older than me, walking. It's another aspect of running. I like being part of intergenerational movement, right? I consider walking, jogging, running, they're all one thing, right? Moving ourselves through space to keep our bodies in good order for the glory of God. Okay, on today's topic, the problem with having a why in running. So, very often folks say, you gotta find your why, right? You know, your reason for being out there. It'll help you push that extra hard in a half marathon, marathon, ultra, even a 10K or 5K. You have to have your why. The problem with that is once we require a why before we get out and run, we put a barrier, right? Sometimes it's a motivational barrier, something that motivates us to do well. But there's a problem with motivation. Everybody knows that problem. Some days you're high on motivation, right? Other days you're low. And so if you run based on a why on low motivation days, you don't get out there. And what you want is as few barriers to getting yourself outside running 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever you've decided for your age, you know? So having a why first might be something that can hinder you, right? I'm not saying it's always a bad thing to have a why, but having a why or thinking that you're required to have a why can affect you when you're not in a psychological place to have that capacity to ask why. And sometimes we just don't. And it's better to do like the Nike logo, which is a far better logo for running. Just do it, right?